Hi, Ubeda. Here we are at your essays. Don't worry about the feedback. Here it comes. I'm really sorry to hear that you've been suffering from migraines, and I hope that they will not affect your performance at the IELTS test. I really hope that you feel okay at the test. Now, let's get down to feedback. So, the green energy essay. These days, many alternative energy sources are ever growing in importance and becoming widespread in modern societies. Okay, I wouldn't say societies, I would say let's say, in many countries, but it's not quite about the society. We will use the word society when we refer to cultural or linguistic or community aspects, but when we refer to energy sources, in this case, growing in importance, I wouldn't really use the word societies. Perhaps communities, or replace this with some equivalent of the word country. Scientists throughout both the developing and developed world have debated whether these sources of power are feasible. Okay, I wouldn't say that sources of power can be feasible. Let's say you can say that it's being debated whether, let's say, solar energy can be if the preservation of solar energy is feasible. So an action is feasible. A source cannot really be feasible. While some people believe that they could pose a significant risk to global energy security, others, myself included, would state that not only are such energy suppliers environmentally friendly, but so are cost cutting. No, not so. But they are also cost cutting. And I wouldn't say suppliers. A supplier is a person. I would say energy, not supplier, not provider. I know that you're trying to paraphrase sources. Such types of energy, let's say, such types of energy, right? This essay will discuss that nearly all renewable energy sources are sustainable and reduce costs, yet they may not satisfy all citizens' basic needs of electricity and gas. Wait, why gas? I thought we're discussing electricity, but let's see. But I like your topic statement. Yes, thesis statement. Yes, very, very clear, very coherent. Let's go. On the one hand, there is ample evidence that renewables are likely to pose a major threat in terms of securing sufficient amounts of energy to meet humans' basic necessities of power. Nice. The reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, wind, solar, and tidal powers are examples of green energy technologies which unfortunately are weather dependent and often make it hard to create enough quantities of energy. Nice. We do have repeats: energy here, and power here. Okay, so perhaps we might think about paraphrases. For instance, in order to harness solar energy, and we have energy again, harness, that's great. Clear skies and sunlight are paramount. Well, by saying that we need to harness solar energy, we mean that we need to know how to make it useful, how to control it, because harness, as a metaphor connected to horse riding, is connected to control. We already know how to control solar energy, but we don't know how to make sure that solar energy is always available. So it's not directly about control. The same happens with wind turbines, which are highly dependent on wind to turn the blades and capture its eolic. It's not eolic, it's is it eolic like this? Is it eolic or eolian? Might be. Okay, and it might be capitalized as well. Secondly, it is arguably expensive to store solar and other natural reserves of energy, limiting its exploitation and availability to use. Yes, this is a very nice argument, and perhaps an example to this could do well. For example, some sample of price. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that collecting and storing non-traditional sources of power, no, let's say power obtained by means from non-traditional sources, is challenging and leads many people to consider them to be a main risk in the successful supply of energy worldwide. Okay, nevertheless, despite the aforementioned disadvantages of alternative energy reserves, I truly believe that they are both eco-friendly and can highly reduce costs of electricity and gas bills. Sorry. This is largely because the use of such energy sources is zero carbon. I wouldn't say that the use is zero carbon. Yeah, it would be great to use zero carbon. Okay, let's leave it like this. And does not deplete the natural resources. I would say any natural resources. Okay, in other words, they promote energy sustainability in stark contrast with the non-renewables that not only are finite, but also have devastating effects on our planet. Yes. Moreover, having one's own solar cells installed on the roof means that they auto-generate electricity, the electricity and heating they need to consume, and thus cut their power consumption of fossil fuels. Oh, yes. For example, recent empirical research of the Spanish government demonstrated that if only a quarter of the population of Toledo were able to become self-sufficient, I would say self-sufficient energy-wise, like this. Yes, by the way, you say this and I say energy-wise, and I think we're saving some space. It's not that what you wrote is not good. It is, but it's a bit long. It's just as an alternative. I don't insist, I recommend. Almost a 30% decrease in energy bills, as well as the price of oil, natural gas, and coal. You probably mean coal. Coil is something else. Look it up. Would be witnessed, would be, I would say, observed or noticed or registered, but not witnessed. Let's say registered. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt, beyond. You were probably in a hurry. That utilizing green reserves of energy, let's say green energy, clearly bestows benefits, both ecologically and economically. Yes, perfect. To conclude, although making use of natural sources of technologies for energy generation is often insufficient to supply satisfactory amounts of power, I certainly feel that they're ecological and budget-friendly by cutting the price of fossil fuels and energy suppliers' bills. It could be predicted that governmental incentives to install solar and wind farms will be provided due to the ever-increasing need to deal with the detrimental issue of global warming. Okay. I'm kind of not sure about this part. Making use of natural source of technologies. I would say making use of technologies for green energy generation. I would recommend this. Other than that, this conclusion is absolutely perfect, and this essay is near perfect. Again, I told you we're looking at a very high band, but just mind the minor corrections that I suggested, and you will be even closer to a very high band. Now let's have a look at task 1. Yes, that's the map, right? I love this task. I mean, the map tasks are typically difficult, but when done right, they can be quite interesting. On both maps, an island is depicted. The first one illustrates what was present before undergoing any change, and the second one after. Okay, that's an introductory sentence, but something happened to your great writing, right? Perhaps a rephrase would be better, something like both maps depict an island before and after development, including changes such as construction, this and that. Overall, the island, which only had some trees planted and was deserted, I don't think that it had trees planted, they were simply growing there, and was deserted, was converted into a residential area. Okay, nice. This was done with the building of accommodation and other facilities for its inhabitants, with the addition of a pier and a man-made lake. Very nice. I wouldn't say with. Um, this was done by building accommodation and other facilities and so on and so forth. The beach located on the west or in the western part, as well as two trees in the northeastern part of the island, were the only features that appear to have remained relatively untouched. Yes, this is very nice, but just mind the changes for the western and northeastern. Most noticeable developments are the housing facilities which were built on the site of the trees that were situated in the northwest of the island. Other buildings were constructed in a circle to the right-hand side of the isle, close to the eastern lake. Okay. All these buildings were interconnected with the addition, I wouldn't say with addition, using a footpath. Between these two residential zones, other establishments were settled, I would say, well, erected in the center of the island. Furthermore, in the south, there was an accessible pier from the residential area owing to the construction of vehicle tracks. Nice. To the west and the east, the beach and the lake, respectively, were in close proximity to the housing area. I'm not sure about this. Do you mean were? To the west and east, the beach and lake? I would say are, if you mean this. To the west and east, the beach and lake are in close proximity to the housing area. This sentence looks odd, and it sounds odd. I'm not sure that we should have it like this. No, definitely not. I'm not sure what you intended to say here. You can say that in the southeastern part, in the southern part of the area was complemented by an accessible pier, and what else? Or you could say it should be added that both the beach and the lake are in close proximity to the housing area, which makes it easy for the inhabitants to access these respective locations. I would do it like this. Yeah, to show the accessibility and like the entire interconnection of the infrastructure. Apparently, you did this a bit in a hurry because the introductory sentence is built in an interesting, unusual, not to say weird way. But other than that, yes, you have very nice body paragraphs, a clear outlining of the main features, absolutely clear. Just mind the minor language corrections that I made. Again, I would add a concluding sentence just as a rephrase, a summary and rephrase of what was achieved in the end or how successful that was. So anyway, I am absolutely 100% sure that your quality of writing increased very much. Please keep up the great work and all the best of luck to you at the exam. I am very sure that you will do very, very well.